Welcome to the Grounds for Discussion podcast. I'm Patty Dusing, your host, and today I have Alison Walz with me. She is a licensed social worker, and she also does a side hustle called Emotionally Balanced, and she works with essential oils, and I'm going to let her take it away. Hi, Alison.
Hi, Patty. How's it going?
Good.
Yeah, so I am a licensed social worker. I went to college, got my LSW back in like 2011. It's been forever. And so my day hustle is I do a full-time social work job with kids. But I love essential oils. Got started with essential oils when I don't even know. It's been so long. My parents bought me my kit for my 19th birthday. So that's it's been forever. And so I love using the essential oils for everything, and it's been really awesome using them. And then I was able to figure out how to meld my oils with my mental health, and then I created Emotionally Balanced.
So tell me, how did you find how to bring the two together? So you've got essential oils going on over here, and you're learning about what each one does, or properties, or tell me more about that.
So, I mean, I've always just used the oils, and I'm one in my family. Growing up, Mom was always trying to oh, this is the new health food drink. Let's try this. And some of them were horrendous. So she brings us the Young Living, because we use Young Living health food drink, and we're like, oh, Mom, I don't know if we want that. And she's like, try it, and it actually tastes good for once. So I think that's why we stuck with the company, because the kids would drink the drink. Otherwise, we wouldn't. No, it was bad. The stuff that she had us try was horrible. I was like, no, thank you. And so we've done it forever, and I've always kind of learned from my dad about oils. And I went to a class in Alec. One of my upline was hosting an event, and she had a class about, I think it was maybe called Aroma Freedom Technique or something like that. But it was one of her people talking about how she used essential oils to help kids work through issues, emotional blocks, and she's like, she would do it in 1 to 3 hours. Well, I've been working as a licensed social worker for years, and I've been working with kids for 1 to 3 years, attempting to get anywhere in their lives with your emotional blocks. So I was like, I need to learn about this class, talk to her afterwards, and then I went through a whole class. It cost me $1,800 to take a class.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was $1,800 that I had to pay to get certified to be an Aroma Freedom Technician.
So you're already invested, but before that, you were already
invested in the oils.
Yes.
Completely. Okay. So this happened, I got certified in 2018, I believe, with Aroma Freedom. So prior to that, I have used oils since I was in high school, because my parents went to an oils class trying to find something for my sister, because she had just been diagnosed with MS, and they wanted something to help her not have to rely on every medication. So they really tried that. And then oddly enough, when they were at the class, my dad smelled a bottle of frankincense, and he has had chronic head pain since 13, and his head pain went away instantaneously.
From smelling the frankincense.
The frankincense, yep.
So I have to say, I do like that scent.
Yeah.
Some of the oils have been a little bit
intense.
That's strong.
Right.
Yes.
So one thing about essential oils and the smell that you smell, and if you don't really like it, I know this might sound completely crazy and people don't like it a lot when I say this, but you're not actually smelling the oil. You're smelling the toxins the oil is releasing in your body. And so that's why they don't like it, because it's releasing the disgusting stuff that your body's trying to get rid of, and that's what you're actually smelling.
So let's say lavender.
Yep.
If someone doesn't like it, what are they?
It's your body is probably not used to calming down, and then your body is releasing all of those hormones and stuff like that it needs to get rid of to let your body calm down. So what I tell someone when they're like,
oh my gosh,
right?
Okay.
When they're like, I hate the smell of that oil, I said, great, but you probably need it, so put it on your big toe, put your sock on, and go to bed. Because you're not going to smell it, but it's going to detox your body slowly.
So lavender should help you
relax,
calm
down.
I can't stand the smell of lavender.
Interesting, Patty.
Right? So what does that tell you, Allison?
Patty, you're wound tight, and we know that. It's not bad, but that's just who you are.
Oh my God, I love that you say that to me because
Right.
it's so true.
It's true.
It's so true.
And your thoughts probably go a million miles an hour, and that's probably why you can't sleep at night.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So speaking of sleeping at night,
Yeah.
when I first got together with Sean, this is like 15 years ago, we were a lot younger, very active and riding bike.
Right.
And I had trouble sleeping even then.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to an oil called, it's supposed to help you sleep. I think it was like a rutavala.
Rutavala, yep. Did you like that one?
No. No, I didn't like it at all. But I did put it on.
Right.
Let me tell you, I slept like a baby.
Right. Because it helped your body to calm and relax, and it helped that nervous system to just be like, I can do it.
So tell me about, like, what is an emotional block? What is that? What happens?
So, we call them kind of like in the trauma world, like tiny traumas. So, the cool thing about emotional blocks is we have them throughout our whole entire life. And so let's say one emotional block that I released when I was doing, because I had to practice on myself to become certified, was back in second grade. There was a kid who came back from being sick, and I had asked my friend, like, oh, he's back. What do you think happened? Type thing, just like inquisitively. Well, the teacher had told me that I shouldn't ask questions. That's none of my business. And that was in second grade.
You were just so little.
Right. And but her saying that made me feel like I couldn't ask questions, and none of that is my business. And that happened in a school setting. So I can tell you from then until I was 27, did I never ask questions in a school setting.
Oh
because
my gosh,
every time I
Allison.
went to raise my hand, I felt this like, I can't do that. Did I understand why? No. So I was doing a goal on myself about public speaking.
So here you
Yeah.
are telling me the story
Mm-hmm.
and the emotion
Yeah.
and the
Yep.
now I'm making the connection now.
Right.
That emotionally affected you as just a young little kid.
Right.
That even as you describe it,
Yep. It had that emotional like stunt. And so what our emotions are supposed to do, and I learned this in my training, our emotions are we're supposed to have an emotional reaction, we're supposed to process it, and then we just put that back in like in a little library type thing is how I imagine it. But when you have some sort of trauma or big emotional thing to it and you can't properly categorize it, it gets stuck. And that's where you come up against emotional blocks, whether it's in a business thing, you want to try to do something, or whether it's in like a big core trauma.
does it get stuck
Anywhere.
like in your body?
It does.
Like
you feel
memory
it.
wise?
So you feel it in your body too. And it's because like it doesn't categorize in your memory, so it's there. But a lot of times, so when I'm going through an aroma freedom session with someone, the questions that we ask are like, okay, what are you feeling about that? What's the one word feeling? And they'll say sadness. And I'm saying, and where is that sadness in your body? And they will tell me where they're holding the sadness in their body. And then what I have them do is close your eyes and drift back to a time where you felt the same sadness in that same spot of your body. And they can come up with that memory that made them feel that way, that's holding them back. And then we just breathe through it with oils.
And the scent.
Yep, the scent, it's lavender, stress-free, and frankincense. And when you use that, it helps your limbic system and your amygdala calm down. And then you're able to be like, oh, that happened, but I'm okay. And you're able to process that. Seconds. It takes 60 seconds. It's insane.
I find that fascinating. And I find it fascinating that there are some oils that you find offensive, probably because there's something in you need to work through.
Yeah.
So how does someone find you? How do you work with people? Like, how do
Yeah.
you find your people? What is it?
So I do have a Facebook page. I have Emotionally Balanced with Alison Walz. I try to keep some videos on there, and we talk about that stuff. So you can always find me on Facebook. Otherwise, I do vendor shows a lot with my oils, and that's how I meet a lot of different people, or word of mouth. Like, I have a lot of people who are like, I worked with her, she's great, you need her, and then I get phone calls.
And you honestly feel like when you work with little kids, that these oils, that they connect with them, I would think as a kid, it's even better than an adult.
It
like
is.
the connection is.
Right. So I have had to separate my businesses a little bit because what I do in my daytime job is billed through insurances, and insurance companies don't find oils a billable service. So if my parents want something, then we can kind of work something out that way. But otherwise, if I do it with some kids, I do it with my own kids. That's what I love about doing this, is now my kids aren't going to have those experiences as like littles, those little things that they think are big right now. They're not going to have that when they grow up. They're not going to be stuck with it, because they would come home from school and be like, this happened today at school. And I'm like, great, let's release that. And they'll put the oil on, and my kids are oil kids though, since day 0. All had them in utero.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah. So they put the oil on and they'll breathe it. And Alexis, my oldest, will cough. She will have a physical reaction to getting rid of that emotion. She will just cough it out, and she's like, okay, thanks, and walks away. My middle child, Danica, is a more sensitive child, and so she will breathe it in. And then she'll work through it. And then she'll probably go into like 5 more oils, because she's my oil baby who sits in the bag and just like picks them. Yeah, she loves her oils. Like a back massage is 12 oils for her.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
So how do you know which oil is for what emotion, for what block? Do you work through this with, I was going to say patient, but that's not, with your client?
With my client, yeah. Well, so the Aroma Freedom Technique has specific oils that we use. We use the blend of frankincense, stress away, and lavender in equal parts, and we use that to start every Aroma Freedom Technique. And then when we're working through like a goal, then we go next to inner child, because typically I've learned that you always want to go back to the childhood too. And inner child is an oil that Young Living has made that just helps connect with that childhood.
Okay, so there's actually an oil called Inner Child.
Have you ever smelled it, Patty?
No, do you have it with you?
Of course I have my oils with me.
Allison!
Okay, I want you to smell it. I want you to tell me what you think of, though. Because that's the cool thing about inner child, is everyone thinks of something different.
This will be interesting.
Just take a smell and tell me what you think of.
Okay. Oh.
What do you remember?
Honestly, and this is wild.
Right.
The very first thing that came to mind when I whiffed this, sniffed it, whiffed it, you name it,
right,
is my backyard when I was a kid. Green grass, swing set, my playhouse. My dad had built us a playhouse with steps. And I remember my little brother playing, the two of us outside, and my sister.
Right.
She's 10 years younger than me. You know about my sister. Yeah.
Right. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
I mean,
it was instant.
I have some people who smell it and they're like grandma's chocolate chip cookies. I have some people who smell it cotton candy because they had a good memory. The cool thing about this, when Gary, our founder, formulated it, he formulated it enough so you will remember something from your childhood when you smell this. And it's such an amazing oil. So cool to like experience. So this is our second oil we use in our Aroma Freedom Technique.
So I am shook that I had no...
Right.
Nothing was... I had nothing in there. Like when you said, it's child... What's it called?
Inner child.
Inner child. Had no memory. Like I wasn't looking for a memory.
Right.
As soon as I sniffed it...
It was there.
That hit.
Yeah. And that was a good memory.
It is. It's a very good memory. Yeah. So... Maybe I'm not as tightly wound as everyone thinks.
But still, I mean,
because it's a good memory.
It is a good memory, and good memories are good for us to have. And it's really cool that the oils can do this, because they go right into that smell system of our brain.
Right.
And that goes right and calms our brain down and is able to make us think and express ourselves almost.
So as I've gotten a little bit older and I've become more open to essential oils, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So my background is very Western medicine.
Right.
Like you take a pill and you fix things.
Right.
However, as I've navigated through life and met Sean, who your dad knows very well, you know very well, and he was into oils, I'm more open to that they can actually, I mean, like smelling things stirs so much in you, and I never put the two. The two together.
No, because that's what we do. That's one of our 5 senses. That's what we do our whole life, right? You're always smelling something.
Yes.
So it's a good smell or a bad smell.
Right.
And so that leads to our emotions. And so smelling the oils is so so beneficial emotionally for us. That's the first thing when people tell me, what do I do with them? Open the bottle.
Right, and just smell it.
Just smell it. It's going to do what it wants to do, and that's the cool, because they're living molecules.
I'm going to want Inner Child.
Inner Child.
Yeah, yeah.
Sean better put that on your next
order. Right, you better put that on your order. He's in the background right now. So your training, you took a class. Do you take regular education then?
Yeah, so I have not. I was at one point. It costs money to be part of the group that does continuing education, but Dr. Perkis offers free classes all the time, and I actually have one that I'm going to watch on trauma, specifically trauma and aroma freedom technique, because that's kind of where my work has just naturally led me, is to more people with trauma because of my mental health background. And so I have been working on more classes, but he has, in my class, it was a course of like, you learned about the technique, you practiced the technique, you had to do so many practice sessions in a group, individual, self sessions. Like, it was, I think, 2 or 3 months long that I had to go through this certification process. And then there is continuing education credits that Dr. Perkis puts out for us. And he's made, when I did it, there was 6 different techniques, and he's up to 8 now. And he just keeps making more. And it's so cool to like watch what he's doing with it and keep up on it. So I do keep up with it. I don't watch every training because sometimes it's like, he did currently a recent study on like depression and how AFT can help people with depression. And he's trying to get clinical trials going so then he can actually make it more of an evidence-based practice.
Oh, sure. Western.
Right. Well, because insurance companies won't pay for anything.
Right.
And it's hard when you try to, like, my goal for my business is like, Young Living would take care of the paycheck and I would just see people and help them for free. That would be my goal in life. It hasn't happened yet, but we'll get there.
So if someone comes to see you for trauma, do you have a formula of oils that you're going to use?
Yep.
And then do you have conversations about what traumatic experience they've had? And then do you tweak the oils that you use based on that experience?
Sometimes. So I have been working a lot on my own intuition. So that's one thing, to like, everyone has their intuition, right? And so I've been working a lot on my own intuition and trying to be super intuitive with what oils are calling to me at that time. So I will set up, I have like 2 bags of emotional oils, and when we're working, I will set up a line of oils. And I know which ones the book calls for because there is a TMRT, a resolution technique just for traumas. And we use the Aroma Freedom Blend, we use Inner Child, and then we go in with a Believe oil, which helps with grounding. So it's like you work with the oils that take away the emotions, and then we actually go in and fill the hole with positive oils. So that's another cool thing. But yeah, no, I have a whole thing, but then I will use Trauma Life in some situations. I will use Acceptance, depending on where I feel that person is. The other cool thing that I love about Aroma Freedom is I get a lot of secondary trauma in my current job because kids are always telling me what's happening to them. And that's hard. But the cool thing about Aroma Freedom is you don't have to tell me what's happening to you. I say, bring up the memory, give me one word that describes the memory, and then they breathe through it. They don't have to tell me everything. And that's helpful for some people. Like talk therapy is hard for people.
Right.
And so if you don't have to tell me about it and you can just deal with it and know that I'm a safe spot, and we will get you through this. It helps my trauma and your trauma.
Right. Both.
Yeah. So it's really cool that way.
So what oils do you have in your bag?
What oils? I have a lot of emotional oils. So this is my blend. This is my Aroma Freedom blend. This is the Stress Away Lavender and Frankincense. And I actually breathed this before I came. I did like a little self-session on myself.
Did you really?
Yeah, because I had a stressful day at work. I had 8 boys with me, and they were kind of chaotic. It took me an hour and a half to teach a lesson tonight. So it was a little chaotic. So I was feeling overwhelmed. And that's the cool thing with this blend is you can do it where like, you're like, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm holding the overwhelm on my shoulders, and you put a drop in your hand, you rub it together, and you just smell and breathe it in until it melts away. It's a 60-second reset.
So tell me what's in this.
Stress Away, frankincense, and lavender.
So I have to say, I do love the smell of frankincense.
We'll see which one you pick out of it, though. Lavender, huh?
Mm-hmm. How did you know?
Because your face.
Really?
Yeah.
It gave it away?
It did. But I smelled it earlier, and all I smelled was the Frank out of it. Because your body takes what your body needs.
Sure.
And that's the cool thing about it.
That's fascinating, actually.
It is. It's the coolest thing because I needed some sort of brain oxygenation.
So let's say for someone like me, who's tightly wound.
Yeah.
I think I just admitted that on camera.
Yeah, you might have.
Yeah, I think I did.
Sean doesn't even have to write it down.
No,
though.
he doesn't have to write it down. It's not forever.
It's forever now. You
That's
can't
so
get things
awesome.
off the internet.
Dang it. Doing this, like, 60 seconds.
Yeah.
When I'm feeling
Stressed out.
which, I don't know. He'd probably argue with me. Not me, not just like, I don't know about that.
Right.
I feel like the load is always heavy, like always heavy.
Right.
And there are moments in life where things do get heavier.
Yeah.
And I don't always realize I'm tightly wound. So.
Because you've dealt with it for so long.
Right.
So that's just who you are.
I wonder, so what changes would I maybe see if I did
A 60-second reset every morning.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you would probably be able to, and you're really fast on your feet anyway, but you would probably not get that panicked sensation in your head. Because you get that, don't you? Where like something happens and all of a sudden you're just like, this and this and this and this and this and this and this.
You know how I process stress is I shift to like angry.
Yeah.
I get mad. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, I legitimately get mad.
Yep.
If I'm sad or hurt feelings, I get mad first. And I will eventually process those feelings. So I suppose I eventually process the stress when I'm trying to sleep and wake up.
And you're feeling angry because you dreamt about everything all night and you had all that stuff. So anger is a very safe emotion. I mean, we all think of anger as like this big thing.
Interesting.
But oddly enough, anger is probably the safest emotion as us as a people experience. And everyone's like, oh, she's mad.
That is so fascinating.
Because
that's
easy.
My default
It's an easy
emotion. As I said, when I'm hurt, when I'm sad, when I'm, overwhelmed, stressed, I get angry. Very rarely do I I don't want to show that I'm sad, hurt. So I get mad.
How did your parents act when you were growing up? Did they show a lot of different emotions, or was anger their go-to also?
My dad was very gentle, very kind. He was my safe, soft spot to fall. Mom was very opposite of him. Like, this is what it is, and that's the way it's gonna be.
Right, and we always mimic the parent that we're the same sex as.
Oh, interesting. God dang it, Allison.
But that's the truth. But that's the other thing, too.
You're psychoanalyzing me.
I'm not psychoanalyzing you. I'm just telling you facts here. Because we do. You're always trying to mimic that parent because that's your role model, right? And so that's interesting that you say that's where you go to, right? And that's not a bad thing. But I mean, if you wanted to, that was one thing that I did, worked really hard on myself because I go to anger a lot too. I know no one would believe it, but like
no, I would never believe that.
I get angry a lot, and my kids would tell you all the time. But I go to that anger a lot, and so I've actually used. Here's a weird combination. Your anger is held in your liver.
Oh, interesting.
So each emotion has
an
organ.
It maps to an organ?
Yes. So there's a different book out there called Emotional Healing. It's a big blue book with a raindrop on it or water drop on it. But that one talks about anger and anger really getting to the liver spot. So you're supposed to use purification over your liver to clear out the anger from your liver to help move on. And I've worked really hard on that. And I feel like, okay, I'm slowly kind of working through that because it's a long process. We've all probably had a lot to be angry about in our lives that we haven't actually dealt with.
Right. So I, at one point, had heard about things mapping back to different organs. So aside from doing a session where you put some oil in your hands and you And you
smell it. Yeah, you just cup it and breathe in. You close your eyes, you think about it, and you just breathe it in until you feel a shift, is what we call it. A shift.
What about diffusers?
Yes.
Do you encourage that?
I love diffusing for anything. I will diffuse for emotions. I don't diffuse during an AFT session because that's too much mixture.
Sure.
I want direct inhalation during an AFT session. But if you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, during this lovely time that we have in Minnesota, I love to diffuse oils because we get really down because there's like the sun isn't out and it's yucky and snowy all the time, right? So diffusing, my favorite to diffuse during this time of the year is Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood.
Okay.
I don't have that here with me.
Stop. What's it called? It sounds beautiful.
Royal Hawaiian Sandalwood. It is an $80+ bottle of oil, but it is distilled from the sandalwood trees in Hawaii. And so it smells like the ocean, like
the
just
beach.
like the beach, just like a breath of fresh air of the ocean. It's so amazing. So I love to smell that one when I'm down. Otherwise, my new favorite is like Cozy Chai. Again, I don't have that one here. Those are all at home.
Okay,
These
let's
are
see
my
what
emotional-
else you got in
these are
there.
my emotional.
Oh, that's a pretty bottle.
Yeah.
The blue, of
Yeah,
course.
it's pretty. So we did the inner child. Oh, this one. I took this one out. This is Stress Away, Patty. This will help you.
I'm gonna drink this right now. Just kidding.
Have you ever used that one?
This smells great.
Yeah, it's a
I smell orange.
vanilla lime.
Oh.
It's a citrus, yeah. It's a vanilla lime mixture.
Mm.
That's a good one to diffuse.
This makes me happy.
Yes, it's so good.
Okay, so seriously, Alison, and I'm not just BSing
I
you
know.
here.
It just helps to,
The instant
yeah,
response. I mean, the response is instant. I
It
smell
is.
it and I'm like, ooh.
it's cozy.
And that's
yeah, it's
organic. Is that the word I'm looking for?
what your brain, it's how your brain is calming and like just accepts it. And that Stress Away is an amazing oil for that. I love to diffuse this one. You're talking about diffusers. This one's a go-to for my diffuser. The other one, lavender. You obviously don't like lavender, but that's the one that's in the blend. I won't let you smell it.
Thank
I won't.
you.
And then frankincense.
Oh, I do like that one. So tell me more about frankincense. Why someone like me like this so much?
Frankincense.
Oh my gosh, that smells so good.
Frankincense is a really woody type oil, and so it's calming to a lot of people. But an interesting fact about frankincense is it is one of our oils that can actually pass the blood-brain barrier, and it helps to oxygenate your brain.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So the molecules are small enough when you smell it, it just goes right in there and helps with oxygenation of your brain, which could also be another reason you like it, because moving around so much, your brain always needs that extra
Oh,
oxygen.
I just love the smell of frankincense. A smell I don't like is patchouli.
Oh, and see, I don't mind patchouli. My middle child loves it. It's such an earthy tone. Another one that you said, the blue one. So this is a dangerous one. This is called Trauma Life. So Gary formulated this one, and I love to use it with people who have trauma, and it doesn't smell horrible. I'll give you the cap, but
She's not giving me the bottle.
no, it's a little intense, but also it's intense for the concept that people have relived their traumas after using it. Like it was made to help you move through trauma.
Whoa.
It's intense.
No.
Yeah, it's not an amazing type oil,
No. Oh my gosh.
but it's good.
I can kind of feel it in the back of my throat.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
No, because your body works through things.
What the heck?
I like to use this oil on physical traumas even. So like at one point in high school or in college, I like slammed my knee on a cement thing, and I put that on to help like my body work through that trauma so it could actually heal. But it works so well with emotional traumas too.
Oh my gosh.
It's a
So
fun
how do you,
bottle.
someone comes in to see you for trauma treatment, emotional.
Yep.
Do you put them on pulse points? You don't diffuse because it would be too much.
It would be, I don't diffuse because it would be too many different oils mixing. Basically, we do the whole thing. So someone comes in with like a massive trauma they want to deal with, we will work on breathing through the oils. That's what I'll do is I will say, okay, what's the memory that you're really struggling with right now? And I'm going to say, On a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being totally calm, 10 totally horrifying, what are you feeling about that right now? And they'll give me a number, and they'll be like, okay, let's picture that memory, and we're going to breathe through it. What's the feeling that you have? So we go feeling, and then we go, where is that feeling in your body? And then I say, what is the negative thought associated with it? And then I have them breathe the oil. And we go through a few rounds of that until their score goes down to probably 1 or 2. And then we can go into the nurturance of the inner child. Like, picture a positive memory of a mothering or nurturing figure you have. And then we have them breathe them like this. And we actually put the oil above your belly button.
Oh.
So, like, almost a connection with your mother.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go, once they breathe through that and feel calm, we go into believe oil. And a grounding picture or a strong picture.
Ooh.
So grounding and strong.
I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that trauma was...
It's
no,
intense.
wait, what's it called?
Trauma life.
Trauma. It is.
Trauma life, yep.
That's intense. This smells really good.
Yes. It's a very uplifting, grounding, strong oil. And so that's how we end the trauma session. But I mean, my other sessions, I use transformation oil. That's another one that I have really quick. So good. That helps with people who maybe we've worked through a goal. So we have a goal of you like building your business or growing your business. And we've worked through emotional blocks and now we're ready for a positive affirmation. And a positive affirmation would be like, I can do this, or I am good enough.
This is probably one of the most subtle oils I've ever smelt.
But it
Smelt,
helps.
is that a word?
It is.
Okay, good.
But it helps your mind shift.
Well, it kind of has a calming effect.
It does. But it also helps.
So subtle.
But it also helps to shift your mind to that positive mindset. So when we're done with like a goal of you wanting to move your business or build your business, right? And we've worked through emotional blocks, and now you have a positive affirmation statement like, I am strong enough to do this, or I can do this. I have you breathe the transformation oil in a power pose. So you get to pick a power pose, hands on your chest, like a superwoman, hands on your hips, or you can do your hands above like a praise pose. And you breathe that, and you say your affirmation 3 times, and you do this with me standing up until I believe what you're saying.
Oh my gosh. Girl, we're going to be there all night long.
No, and actually, with the oils and everything like that, and they'll be like, what do you think? And I'm like, well, I believe you. Do you believe yourself? And they're like, yeah, I actually do. And then they have homework. So they have to go home and do it for 3 days, in the morning and at night, in front of a mirror.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
when we watch ourselves in a mirror, we're saying it to ourselves. And so it's very grounding. And we have action steps too with your goals, so you can actually move forward. Because we don't just do it because we want to do it. We want to do it to make progress.
Is there ever such a thing as doing a multi-group session?
Like a group session? Yeah, I do group sessions at least once a year with a team from the Motley area. They call me in to do a group session. They do business goals. Yeah, I do a lot of, if you have many people who are like, yeah, I have goals, especially business goals, it's easy to do a group session. Personal stuff, it's a little bit harder because you might run into some big traumas. And if you run into a big trauma, you'll be like giving me numbers of where your goal is, and then you're going to possibly go backwards and be like, I'm stuck. Then we have to go into a trauma release session, and then we can go back to your goal. So I can like mix the 2 different ones too to help get you. I'm not going to leave you hanging.
So is this a possibility? There is, as an example, my question will be this. There's 5 podcasters that will be working out of this little studio. We're located right on Broadway, by the way. Let me interject that. Street Side Studio 7, located inside Deja Blue House Coffee, 612 Broadway, Alexandria, Minnesota. So there's 5 of us.
Yeah.
Could you do a session so that we move any blocks that we may have, so that conversation flows, so that we're comfortable in front of the camera, things like that? Is that?
For sure. We could sit down, and I would have you guys all sit down, and I'd give you a piece of paper, and I'd have you say, what is your goal? And your goal would have to be like, I am, and it has to be in the present tense and positive, no negative words. Like, you can't say, I am not going to blink on the camera. Like, you can't say the word not. So we'd have you set your own goal, and then I would walk you through the whole process. Yeah.
How long would something like that take?
Depending on the amount of people, I'd say with 5 people, if we can all process through it, minimum of an hour, maximum of 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's something we should do.
I mean, it's really cool We could film it for a podcast.
Oh my gosh, we should film it actually.
That would be cool.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be really cool. It's cool to see the process and just to feel the process.
I think it would be fun. I've not done any of this like
right.
emotional. Wait, let me get it. Emotion. Help me.
Aroma freedom technique.
Okay. Aroma freedom technique.
Yeah.
But I'm very intrigued, and I have so many oils at my disposal thanks to Sean.
Right. And you just got to pick up the bottle and open it.
Yeah. So we being Sean, diffuses every night. And honestly, I'm not even sure what you put in there, Shawnee. What do you put in there in the diffuser?
It varies. Different things.
What when you put the oil in, what are you hoping that it knocks me out, that I sleep all night?
I don't put the lavender in there.
No. I can never tell what goes in there, but
Well,
I
it's probably
enjoy
just
it.
based upon the needs.
Yeah, I enjoy
that's
it when
the
I'm
cool-
sleeping.
Well, the cool thing about it too is like intuition. Like Sean's used oils for so long,
Mhm.
so he probably is just like, I'll grab this one tonight and this one tonight, and I'll put it in.
Mhm.
And that's cool because that's what your body needs.
Sure.
I use oils on my dogs, okay? And you would think like a dog, they can't tell you what to do, right?
Oh.
My dogs will go in my oil bag and tell me which ones they like. Or if I'm putting an oil on myself, my dog is like, me too.
Oh.
And putting his hand.
You're kidding.
Oh yeah, they love their oils, but their intuition is way stronger than ours.
True.
So we just have to follow our intuition. That's why I love kids.
Mhm.
I open my
I
oil
know,
bag
I know, me too.
and I'm just like, what do you want? And they will pick out what their body needs.
Mm-hmm.
But we second guess ourselves as adults.
Right.
Well, what's that
Right.
oil used for? I don't know. You picked it up. Obviously, you want it.
So I had heard, and personally, I have high blood pressure issues.
Yeah.
And I had heard that there are some oils that can help with that. It's not like I would not monitor my blood pressure
Right.
and stop using the medication, but is there some truth to that?
So I can give a personal testimonial because I'm not
Okay.
a doctor, but I can give my own personal testimonial.
Yes.
When I was in labor with my son Jackson, my blood pressure was getting very high to the point where they were like, we need to do something. And I said, okay, give me a few minutes. And I would took Aroma Life. It's a little green bottle. And I would take that and I would put it on my heart. I would smell it and I just put it all on. And the funny thing is the nurses were monitoring it and they came right in and said, what did you do? And I was like, what do you mean? Well, you just dropped. Like, what did you do? And I was like, just put this oil on. Oh, well, I guess you're fine then. And so personally, it helped me when my blood pressure was getting high that way. So it worth a try. Everyone's different though, so I can't
Well, I
say
do
it
think
would.
it's fascinating, and I'm way more open to what oils can do than, say, 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
Because you think about it, where does this come from?
The earth.
Right.
What did God give us?
Right.
And that's what I love about this stuff too, is like, I use this first because I can always try a different oil. I can only give my children Tylenol so many times an hour.
Sure. Right.
Where if I give them peppermint oil and that doesn't work, I can try a different oil and then maybe that one doesn't work. I can try oils over and over again. But once I go to the Tylenol, I know I'm stuck for like 6 hours waiting for a result.
Yeah, when I first was aware of essential oils, I was very like, okay.
Woo woo, what are they doing? Huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
I hear you.
And then I tried that rutavala, which helped me sleep. And then lavender, actually. I've used on burns
Yeah.
instantly.
It just takes the sting away.
And so based on those two things alone, I definitely have
Right.
an understanding that there's something here.
Right.
For
It
sure.
works.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. It's like, do I care why it works?
Right?
I mean, sometimes I don't. You want to hear why it works? You can talk to my dad. He's like the bookworm about it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know. It just works. I like it. It smells good. I do know some science, but I'm not the one who studies the science. I try to figure out what works for people.
So one of my last questions, I think. Is there an oil you don't like?
An oil I don't like.
The smell.
Yeah, I mean, Dorado Azul smells like rotten silage to me.
Hold on a second. What?
Dorado Azul. It's like, I think it's an Ecuador type of oil, but it smells like rotten silage to me. Don't really prefer it, but it's really good to support your lungs.
Oh.
So, huh? Oh, Tom says he doesn't like Diagize. That doesn't smell good either. It smells really bad, but
And to you as well?
it does. It smells like, so Diagize has, and fennel too. That's maybe another one I don't like. And fennel is like black licorice. That's not a fan. And Diagize is in, or fennel's in Diagize, but it helps with, Diagize helps with your stomach. And so if you get with like any sort of like icky, maybe stomachy thing, Diagize, putting that on will help to get rid of it possibly faster if it might help you. It helps me. And then, but Dorado Azul is good for lung support. And so if I have any sort of like crud,
You'll do it.
then I'll do it. That's what I mean. I sound like I don't ever not like any oil because even though it smells bad, I know my body needs it. I was not a fan of Joy Oil for a long time either. But I did the foot trick. You put it on your big towel, you put it, and then you just got to work through it.
Is there anywhere on your physical body that you should not put oils, like ingesting? Is there some specific that you can?
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's some that you cannot.
So, FDA states that you cannot use an oil for 3 different purposes at the same time. So, this big red bottle of frankincense is used for topical and aromatic. But
Can I use it in the tub? As like...
in bath salts. I would put it in a bath salt. Because oils, here's the thing about your tub, oils sit on top of water. So if you put oils on your water in your tub, you're going to sit down in it first and it's going to get on your skin. If you want it to evenly disperse throughout the bath, put it in bath salts.
Oh, sure.
Like Epsom salt. But so that one, but we do have a smaller bottle of frankincense with a white label, and that one is used for internal. So Young Living wanted to be FDA compliant, and so they came up with what we call vitality oils. So those are all little white bottles that you can take internally.
So do you know right off the top of your head what frankincense does for you internally?
Frankincense is the father of all oils. He is the most amazing oil ever. They brought that oil to baby Jesus.
Yes.
There had to be something amazing in it, right? So internally, it's good for your body. Like, it just is good for all of your organs. It's really good for your skin. Our skin is our biggest organ. So even taking it internally is good for that.
So how would you take a white label, correct? As an example, frankincense.
Yep.
Do you put it in a gel cap or a...
You could
or
put
do
it in
you
a capsule.
drink it?
Some people, my dad, will take it straight and just put it in his mouth. But frankincense is his go-to oil to help anything. Talk about oils that he doesn't like and detoxing. Any sort of eucalyptus type oil, or myrrh, I believe, is the other one. He detoxes so fast from working where he's worked for so long. Like, those plastics are just like in his system. So he detoxes so fast where he like can't even breathe it to a point. But frankincense, when he goes like this a few times, will help open up his lungs again. That's in him. I don't know if that will work for anyone else. So you could do it in a capsule. You could do it in coconut oil.
Yep.
A lot of people will do a few drops in coconut oil. A lot of people will use our Vitality line because they have peppermint oil. They have peppermint oil is great in hot cocoa.
Oh.
They have lavender for Vitality also because you can make lavender lemonade out of it. So you can cook with them. They have parsley, coriander, black pepper oil. So they have all of those that you could use instead of using the herbs. Use the oils. There's actually cookbooks out there of people who use oils.
Okay, so I lied. That wasn't my last question. Why Young Living for you versus other
ones? Yeah. So when Dad and Mom went to that class, it was the Healing Oils of the Bible class, and it was taught by...
Oh, fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so amazing.
Let's go, Alison.
Yeah, so they went to that class, and Dad fell in love with the frankincense. And when my dad starts doing something, he goes full in, and he researches it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found a family. Like, I love my Young Living family. I will go to the cities and see my Royal Crown Diamond teach. She is so amazing. She has so much spirit and is about how the oils can help people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably one of my number one reason is that they can help people. And that's why I feel I've been put here is to help people. So why would I not use the best? I do believe Young Living is the best.
Mm-hmm.
We've been around for 30 years. Gary, the founder, has researched in it. And the seed to seal promise, which is the promise of our ground never being touched by a chemical type pesticide, to our labels and our bottling and our distillation process being top notch, third party tested. If anything comes back on any of our oils that doesn't meet qualifications, they will throw the whole batch out and we will be without an oil till the next growing season.
Oh my gosh.
Because they don't want to sell something that could harm someone.
Hmm.
And so I've never looked at another company because this company has always treated it with the utmost importance. And I use this on my kids.
Right.
And so that's why Young Living for me is the integrity of it. And it's a family owned company. So Gary has passed away and now his wife and his 2 sons run it. And so it's very family oriented. And when you go to me and Austin went to Utah 2 years ago for a convention, you think it's like, oh, it's a convention, no big deal. But they make it like a big family.
Hmm.
The fact that I can call up Sherry, my Royal Crown Diamond, at any time and say, hey, I'm struggling with this. I have a person who has this. How can we help? And she's there for me. And we only met through this. Like, it's just like a big family. That's why. That's why I've never looked. Everyone says, well, what about this one? And I said, I've never tried it.
Sure.
I've never had. That's the other thing. I've never had to try anything else.
Sure.
I have had people say the price.
Mm-hmm.
It's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But so was the doctor.
Right.
And I go once a year for
Right.
physicals.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do. We will go if needed.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'd rather do this than
Right.
go to the doctor.
Yeah, some of the medications out there are so
It's insane.
yeah, not only expensive, but the
Mhm.
side effects that
Right.
these meds have, sometimes they hurt you just
Right.
as much as they're supposed to help
Or you
you.
need another med to counter the side effect of
Mhm.
that med. And that's a hard part for me is like I don't want my kids to have to do that. I want them to search for something different. We just talked about oils tonight. That has nothing to do with half the products that Young Living has, our personal care products, our supplement lines. Like it's so amazing. And everything in my house is Young Living. I might be crazy, but everything. It's all Young Living. My bathroom, my cleaner, my laundry detergent, my dish soap.
Actually, now that you mention it, we also have Young Living laundry detergent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's probably in my toxins class that I teach. Your laundry detergent actually can harm you in 3 different ways because it harms you by putting it. You're obviously touching it to put it in your clothes, and then it's on your clothes, and you wear your clothes. But where do your clothes hang at night?
Mm-hmm.
In your closet. So you're smelling in the laundry detergent if it's a toxic type detergent.
Hmm.
So that's one of the first things to swap over is your laundry detergent.
Yeah,
Because it just helps.
that makes sense, actually. So, Allison, I am so intrigued. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is great. It's been a good conversation. And I really want you to come back
Oh yes,
and do the session
for sure.
with the podcasters.
That would be so much fun.
I think it would be, for me, kind of a case study.
Yeah.
Because I know all of these. I'm the 5th.
Right.
So there's 4 others.
Yeah.
And I know them pretty well.
Mhm.
One of them is your brother, actually. Yeah.
I don't even know if he has ever done an Aroma Freedom session. Yeah, he says he has. I don't.
Oh, no.
They were all my test subjects when I was going through training, so I don't really remember who all did them.
Mm-hmm.
But he hasn't done one since my training.
So our goal, of course, with the podcast is to grow, expand our reach,
Yeah.
and finesse our style. So I would love to see
Yeah.
how, particularly me, because and Thomas, he's got a few episodes out there.
That's
kind of
11.
see where we are, right?
I was watching them today.
That's pretty wild.
Isn't it?
Yes. To see videos up to like pre and post.
Right. To see how
Yes.
your like finesse just changes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be really cool.
So let's get you back.
We should.
Let's record that.
Yeah.
Thomas, you're back there in the background. Are you down for that? Of course.
Yeah, if it's for my sister or anything.
Oh, that's so sweet, Allison.
That's so good.
Little brother.
I know.
Love it.
It's my baby for a long
Yes.
time.
Oh, cute. All right. So tell me again who you are.
Yes.
Allison.
Alison Walz with Emotionally Balanced. You can find me on Facebook, or I teach classes here too. So I'll post that on my Emotionally Balanced Facebook page too once we get our classes set up. So then we can do classes here and stuff like that again.
Yes, would love to have you back. I'm very grateful that you took the time. You're a busy lady. You've got the kids, you've got your full-time job, so many other things you've got going on, and you took the time to really, I feel, smarter leaving this conversation than when I first came in.
Yeah.
So thank you to Alison Walz with Emotionally Balanced and the conversation we just had on essential oils. Please join us in a future episode where we actually do, all right, Allison, I'm going to hand it back to you, the
Aroma Freedom Technique.
Aroma Freedom Technique session with all of the podcasters, and we'll film that whole episode, and then maybe we'll interview each. We'll do a 5-person interview.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And Allison, then you can tell us what it is that you saw throughout that technique.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you all very much. We'll catch you next time on an episode of Grounds for Discussion.